What's up, everybody? It's Rodney Smith, aka Heavy Hooks, here again. And I love education and economics and sports. And I want to talk about sports because Colin Kaepernick was kneeling during a professional sporting event, and many people took offense to this. And I want to highlight the fact that we have not been educated in a way that allows us to see the connection between politics and everyday life, and especially politics and sports. People want to say that sports and politics are separate. I'm here to tell you that it's not separate. I live in Indianapolis, and the Indianapolis Colts play in Lucas Oil Stadium. Now, Jim Irsay, let's look at him. How much is he worth? $3 billion. Now, the construction of the stadium, Lucas Oil, cost $720 million. Now, Jim Irsay is worth $3 billion. But I wonder how much the Colts had to put up. Only $100 million. That means Indianapolis was paying $620 million for Lucas Oil. Last time I checked, we tear poor people apart for receiving welfare. Now let's look up the definition of welfare so you can understand what I mean. There it is. It's a grant, money given to somebody. Now let's look up the word subsidy. Subsidy. Money given to somebody, a grant. Subsidy and welfare are the same thing. Now, if Jim Irsay is worth $3 billion and only put up $100 million for the stadium, and the city of Indianapolis put up $620 million, they gave Irsay welfare, but they're going to call it a subsidy because they know in our educational system, they don't go over finance. Definitely not over local municipality financing. They don't go over general obligation bonds and how the cities use bonds to raise money, and securities and bonds to raise money, and then use tax money to fund the bonds, or pay the people who bought the bonds. They're not telling us this, so we don't understand what's really going on, and then we blast poor people when they use welfare. So now let's look up the role of a government. There it is. There's the role of the government: to protect and provide. That's why welfare is there, to provide and protect people financially. Okay? So it looks to me that rich people get a lot more welfare than poor people. The problem is, poor people are not getting enough benefits, which is why they're poor. They don't have enough money, Resources, money, they don't have enough of. Rich people keep getting it. They just change the wording on you. Subsidy and welfare is the same thing. It's a grant. It's money given to you. Look at the middle class. How many people out there, how many black people out there, how many whites, how many Hispanics get to file their mortgage interest deduction or homestead exemption? Or me, I'm a veteran. How many veterans out there did not have to pay a down payment when they bought their house? See, they're calling these things tax credits, tax deductions, subsidies, but it's welfare. It's money given to you. I didn't have to pay my down payment for my house because I'm a veteran. So the government paid for it. So I got welfare. But see, we're not taught to think in this way. Because think about it. Policies are built on what people advocate for. People are not advocating for more welfare. Therefore, it dries up and people stay poor. While at the same time, rich people like Jim Irsay, who's making $3 billion, are advocating for subsidies. So they're going to say subsidies, but it's welfare. It's money given to them. Okay? Money was given to me so I could purchase this house. First time home owner program. Welfare, but they're going to call it a subsidy. Either way you put it, you didn't have to pay that money. Okay? The government paid that money so you can get into that house. So let's not play games. I want to teach people so they can understand what's going on, so they can advocate for policies that's going to help them. That's why I'm advocating for reparations. So if people are not advocating for reparations, I don't know what they're talking about. And the more studying that I do, I see that I think we need to push for reparations in a very smart political way. And I think really that Black people need to be their own nation, a domestic dependent nation. Look it up. It exists here in the United States already with the Native Americans. And that way Black people can control their own cities with a budget from the reparations that they get. Okay, check out the Afro-descendant nation if you don't believe me. Check out the 10 youngest countries in the world if you don't believe me. It can happen. Look at the Native American nations that's already here. They're domestic dependent nations, and the Europeans that are here are called belligerent occupants. Look it up. Look it up in the UN. Look it up in international law. I'm not making this up. It's time for us to wake up and do something different. It's insane to keep doing the same things. Look it up. Look up how the City of Indianapolis financed Lucas Oil Stadium. It was through the Indiana Finance Authority. Chase Bank was a part of it. They helped create a collection of securities to raise money, which means Jim Irsay, who's worth $3 billion, didn't have to pay it, which means he got welfare, but they're going to call it a subsidy. All right. So advocate for more benefits, not less. We need more. It's Heavy Hooks, Rodney Smith. Start talking so much about economics and finance, I forgot my point. So now people should understand why I said that politics and sports are connected. All right. Because when you're sitting in a professional sporting stadium or arena, it's most likely funded by the people. All right. The local governments are helping these rich people get these stadiums. So the Dallas Cowboys and Jerry Jones are no different. Look it up. Jerry Jones didn't spend all of his money to create that stadium that the Cowboys play in. Neither did the Colts. Okay, so a lot of this money that goes into these professional stadiums are paid for by the city or county that they reside in. So don't think that politics and sports are so separate. Okay, everything is political. Just look at the definition again. I'll put the definition of politics up here again, but it's the total complex relations between people in a society. All right, that includes everything. There's nothing that's not political. All right, don't be tricked. All right, so politics and sports are very much related, and don't be fooled. There's nothing that's not political. Don't let your kids or you don't allow schools to tell you that they're not into politics and that you can't talk about politics in class, because remember that school is clearly funded by the government, which makes it very political. All right, I'm just here to lift people up. Again, if I'm wrong, please tell me how these schools are not government schools, how these public schools are not government institutions. But I'm willing to listen. If they're not, if public schools are not run by the government and funded by the government and bonds and tax dollars and all of that, let me know, please. But I think they are, but I'm willing to learn. This is Heavy Hooks, Rodney Smith.